Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be talking about and looking at the patch notes from Galahad patch number 3 that was released on the 5th of April. So in this it introduced the reputation change, so I'm going to talk about what it is, what it does, and my opinion on it, for those of you that are interested in my opinion I guess. We've got some footage in the background. It's nothing particularly exciting, it's me trying to stop being bad and finally level up a load more weapons. Yeah, it's all good fun, isn't it? So the main feature is the reputation changes in this patch. So what's changed? Now you can change your self from blue, which is what we are now, we aren't looking for PvP, we aren't PvP enabled, to red, which used to reset your reputation, which is found here. So these are your reputations. It used to change it from 20,000, which is obviously the highest rep at the moment, down to 0. And that was like 2 or 3 weeks or 2 weeks worth of work, grinding, and the fact that you then were, if you dropped below it, you couldn't go into certain cities, and there was a lot of problems with it, and basically no one PvP'd outside of a black zone at all. Red zones were just not used for PvP because it was pointless. What was the point PvPing in a red zone when you knew you had to flag up to do it? So most people had either alts that they were PvPing on, which is exactly what I did, so I can't say I'm any different, or they just didn't they didn't look for PvP at all. They only PvP'd when they were engaged on, or when someone was in front of them with, like, that was already tagged. So I like this change. What has this change done for their game? This change in itself has brought PvP to a red zone. Single-handedly, because people now can PvP in a red zone without losing all of their hard-earned rep. That's a huge thing. I'm also going to die here. I think, maybe. Maybe? Yeah, definitely going to die here. So I'm just going to take it like a man. So yeah. This has brought PvP to a red zone. It's kind of brought a bit more PvP to a yellow zone as well, although yellow zone is still only PvP down to 1 knee, so it's literally pointless other than annoying gatherers, basically. It's the only reason for it, because going down in PvP to 1 knee still removes X amount of resources from your inventory, so I believe it is on knockdown it's down to, so you only lose 10%. Oh, we've gone very close there. So you only lose 10%, but still you lose 10% of any resources you had, which is quite a bit in the grand scheme of things. Why can't I pull one of these? Game, don't be doing this to me. Okay. Anyway, so this is the second. This is it. So it's brought more PvP to different zones, which I kind of like, but it means that anything other than yellow zones, blue zones now is just a war zone. You cannot realistically go into any one of them and expect, oh wow, lots of loot, and expect to do it and live, which I think a couple of us have kind of got used to being able to do that, and therefore we've kind of got in the habit of it, which is a bad thing on us. Anything can change in games. So for me personally, I know today I went to a red zone expecting that no one wants to PvP, and as soon as I got to a red zone, someone PvP'd. And I was really caught off guard with that. The only time I've seen people PvP is when they're already flagged by a mile away and we could see it coming. But we'll carry on with the reputation system changes. So the high reputation buff for being glorious, which is the 10% damage reduction and 10% CC resistance, is only active when you're blue, when you're not PvP flagged. I like this. They basically made sure that you can't get max rep and then go and gank people and have the tankiness debuff. So that's for being glorious. You get different ones for virtuous and noble as well. I like this. They seem to have thought everything through. You can always be blue now, so you can always be flagged, or not flagged, sorry, so as we are now, not looking for PvP, even in black zones, I believe. And you no longer get rep while you're red. We cannot pull one of these, can we? I'm going to die so many times trying to kill this whole camp, but I'm determined to do it now. So you can no longer gather rep while being red. So you kind of have to go blue if you ever want to stop PvPing, which I like it. It's basically oh my god, you basically turn PvP on or off, which I like. I think I like that idea. You make a conscious decision whether you want to be the aggressor in PvP, and obviously if you're blue, you naturally will have the defensive debuff, and you have the advantage going into fights because you have that tankiness. And I like it. I think they've genuinely thought all of this through. There has been a fair bit of testing for this on the public test realm. It now takes 15 seconds to flag for PvP. So this seems like a really small change in the grand scheme of things. It's really not. It's a massive change. Because what people were doing is finding people flagging and then executing them or killing them when they were low. And where it was 5 seconds, it was so quick that basically you couldn't really react to it. Now, the 15 seconds means that you kind of have to make a choice as okay, I'm going to PvP, not oh, I see an opportunity to PvP, I'm going to now switch. It is, okay, I want to go in PvP, I'm going to go and swap. So again, I like it. I think I like the ideas that they've had with this. They've lowered the reputation gains for the higher ranks. It means it's harder to get back to where you were. So the people that aren't looking to PvP or aren't looking to be the aggressors basically have the benefit, and it takes longer to catch back up, which again I like. I like the fact that there should be a punishment for PvPing. You are effectively outlawed. In fact, you're literally outlawed. So yeah, I like this as well. So the last major change is players that with the dreaded, which is the minus 20k, which in fairness I don't think I've really seen one yet with that low rep. Can't even enter the Royal Continent anymore. The Royal Continent being the bottom map of the Royal Continent. They can't even enter. So they have to stick to black zones at that point. I don't know why you'd ever let your character get that low rep, just because you would be limited so much. But I suppose for alts, PvP only alts, maybe there's a potential there. But yeah, so that's the rep changes. What do I think of these rep changes? So it has brought more PvP to yellow and red zones. I have 100% seen that already today. I think it's going to take PvP away from black zones a little bit. Black zones I feel like are just going to turn a little bit more solo PvP, and red zones are going to be a lot zergier. I don't think you're ever going to have the nice 1v1 fight that you might have before when someone's just seen an opportunity. I do think you're going to get guilds roaming around now, because even if you're flagged blue, you obviously can still be attacked. You just have the advantage with the glorious buff. But yeah, so it has brought more PvP into the game. Obviously the people that have been playing for the last couple of weeks, myself included, I've kind of got used to being able to go to a red zone and no one really wanted to PvP. So today was a bit of a culture shock, but I like it. I think it's good. Other changes that were made today, they've tried to equal out the resource cost of empowered materials. This is because what's happening at the moment is it's either ridiculously cheap to get a 4.1 piece and expensive for a tier 5 piece, bearing in mind they are equivalent in item power, or it's really cheap to get a tier 5 one and massively expensive to get a tier 4.1 one. So they're trying to balance that out a bit by making sure the item values match up. I like this. I think that 4.1 should always be slightly more expensive than tier 5, and a tier 5.1 should be slightly more expensive than tier 6. This is because it requires less to use it. So you look at all these marketing things, and basically the easier it is to use, the earlier on you can use it. You basically are paying for the ease of use and being able to use it early. So again, I agree that 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 should be slightly more expensive than its higher tier counterparts, but it shouldn't be to the extent it is now, that some tier 4.1 pieces are actually cheaper than tier 5, and some tier 5 pieces are less than a third of the price of the tier 4.1s. So I'm glad that they're looking at it and balancing it out. I'm just reading through just to find other ones that are interesting to talk about, because some of them are just really small changes that really don't make a difference. They've added an auto-deny guild invite option. I'm really happy about that, because I have an alt that was kind of just a solo roamer, didn't want it to be associated to the guild. Literally, I was just doing it for a bit of a laugh every now and again, mainly drunk nights playing. But I get spam invited, but obviously you can turn that off now, which is lovely. I like that. You can't spawn at a guild territory, so they've changed it now where obviously black zones, black rep, which is, so once this mob has finished killing us, sorry, 2 seconds, this is the problem with doing everything live, is that you get beat on by big trees. Okay, let's just run away. Okay, so looking at the reputation again, dreaded being minus 20,000, sorry, that's a massive rep loss. You would never get there by doing anything PvE related. It would just be ganking all the time. But if you die with that and your nearest guild territory is in the Royal Continent, you can't actually spawn there now. So they have thought about everything. There's no way to cheese it. It is literally a case of, if you are dreaded, you do not come onto the Royal Continent. You are only in black zones then. They've made another change. I'm not sure how much I like this. So new characters now start with 0 crafting focus. So originally new characters were starting with 3,000 crafting focus, and I believe that is okay. So it's, I understand why they've changed it more so now, in that if you look at the premium here, everyone starts with 3,000 crafting focus, and you get the benefit of an extra 1,000 crafting focus per day on premium. So I imagine people might have been making characters to use the crafting focus. I mean, they could just change that you allow premium characters to start with crafting focus, but I don't know how much they want to distinguish a premium character from a normal character. Other than that, there's not really much that's changed. They've fixed quite a few issues, but it's just small issues really. Other than that, guys, I've sort of given my opinions. The rep change was the major thing today, and I'm really happy they've brought it in, even though it was a bit of a culture shock today. Other than that, I've got quite a big video that I'm working on for tomorrow, which is how to make money. As you can see, I'm back down to 230k. Yesterday I was up to 1.1 million. The day before I was down to like 150k at one point. My gold bounces around all over the place because I'm trying so many different builds and stuff, so I can do build guides, but I managed to make it back every time. So I'm going to hopefully do a couple of pointers for you guys to make gold back. Other than that, like, subscribe, all that normal stuff. Comment if there's anything you want to see specifically. Subscribe. Check out my Twitch channel. I stream almost every day. Other than that, guys, have a nice day.